The Clashing Conferences Podcast. Let's go.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Clashing Conferences Podcast, NFC East Podcast. It is the NFC East Podcast. I got to get off saying the Clashing Conferences Podcast because we got like 5 different shows going on now. You know, we got basketball, we got football, we got baseball, we got the members group. We got all kinds of things going on. We got new people joining all the time. Just met a new Mets fan today that joined the group. I'm excited to be growing the Grimace movement. Well, we're not talking about the Giants. We're not.
He likes the Giants.
He likes the Giants. He's a little bit misled about this whole all New York thing, but we'll get him off of it. So
we'll invite him
we
on.
are back. It is our second to last show. We got one more game yet to talk about. It's a pretty big one. Super Bowl is coming up in a couple of days here.
Sorry, Mike. Let me just interrupt real quick. I just had an epiphany. I like literally every New York. Every
Get
New
3
York
letters
fan,
in a row right.
Every New York fan in the world is looking for a hope, and they come to Chris. So I feel like we're going to be cursed with a lot of New York fans because the only hope they have in the world for their team is Chris. Sorry,
somebody
was thinking about that as you're talking.
This guy's cool, Randy. Somebody in the group chat already asked him what he thought of Daniel Jones, and his opinion was not very high.
Yeah,
so he's a reasonable
Jones
Giants fan. He's not like Chris at all.
With lots of Giants fans, that's good.
We're going
to attract people because the people who we represent.
Chris,
it makes sense.
Chris, hold that thought, Mike. Go ahead.
No, I mean there's not much of an intro here. I mean we got nothing to recap. You know, we do have the internal competition still alive. I think that's down to Randy if Kansas wins the big game, and Greg and his Eagles. If the Eagles win the big game, will be crowned a second champion. You would get the regular season and the postseason championship. Yes. That would be pretty nice to go along with the Eagles Super Bowl for you, I think.
Wow, triple crown.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty good year for Greg on the pod here. So that's really the only recap I got. Who wants to get in there and talk about the big game first?
I think in true Philly fashion, I saw this on a meme, so I'm going to absolutely steal it. Obviously, a bunch of jackasses in Philadelphia have shows. So, Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I don't know if anybody's seen. Have you heard the show?
I've seen it once. I only watched the first one.
The show is dumber
Tommy
than hell.
DeVito.
The show is dumber than hell.
DeVito.
But because those goofs just find themselves in like these just precarious positions. But I think they need an episode where they plot to kidnap Patrick Mahomes before the Super Bowl to secure an Eagles victory, but end up kidnapping Jackson Mahomes by mistake. I think it would be. I read that. I thought it was. I thought that would be hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, that's a great episode. You should write it.
Okay, someone's
pretty funny.
Little salty there.
Well, you're a little salty there, buddy. What's wrong? What's wrong?
Man,
I'm
excited.
You should be
hyped,
excited. You should be.
And today's our 7th anniversary. You know, today, 7 years ago, we celebrated a 52 Super Bowl 52 victory.
A first Super Bowl for the Eagles, if I
first ever.
Sure.
First ever.
5 years after that. 5 years after that, we make it to the Super Bowl and
lose.
And we're back
to
this
the
year.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Man,
and lose.
We have some teams that can't even make it to the playoffs. We have one team that gets to the playoffs and loses every year.
We won 2 Super Bowls in 4 years, so
okay.
We did.
When was that? 2000 and what?
2007-8 season, 2011-12 season.
We won 2 in 2 years.
We've won 1 in every single decade since we won our first. We don't.
Then you should be due. Then
we are. We're going to win 1 this decade.
I think we're going to end up being overdue.
So, honest question. I want to throw this around the room. Honest question. Would you rather have a Super Bowl in the past year or two, or would you rather be able to say you won a Super Bowl once every decade? What would you rather have? I don't know. Want to know what you have or what your team has.
I'd rather have
what would
one
you
every
prefer?
decade. one every decade.
Okay.
Why
well-
not? Because if we all right, I won't have to. Yeah.
Why not? Why though?
Why? Because
Go
if I
ahead.
have one every decade, then I'm going to be in it, and I'm going to like every 10 years I'm going to win one, and the next 3 years I'm going to have 7. Like how many you got? 1.
I mean, unfortunately, Mike, the day
a
after
fair
the
argument.
Super Bowl, unfortunately, the day after the Super Bowl, it's all history.
The
It's
next
all
30
history.
years I might have. Yeah.
The
you
day
know what I'm
after the
saying.
Super Bowl. So yeah, I'd rather have more Super Bowls.
That's all right,
Then
because
what?
Chris, we know that Chris loves to talk about history. Remember, there was that one half of football closer to the last time that they won a Super Bowl.
Well, we went to the playoffs a couple
That was
years
the most
ago.
legendary half of football of all time.
You know what? Speaking of history, I kind of went through some old notes. And I was
There
going
it
through
is.
some things, and I found a couple things that I had to share with everyone.
That's why you were being so salty, because you knew you were going to come in with all this.
No, I'm not gonna go after anybody hard.
We did beat him up last week. Like he's going to the Super Bowl, and we didn't even let him enjoy it.
That's fine.
That's what we should be doing. We should be doing that now. But
assholes like you. This is what we expect.
we just don't
So-
like your team. Like what more do
and
you
I'm
want?
well aware of that. That's
You don't
fine.
like our team?
I don't.
Oh, so if the Giants were in, if Washington would be in the Super Bowl right now, would you be all happy and being like, or would you be
wouldn't be-
telling Paul they suck?
No, I wouldn't tell him he sucked because he just beat my team. Why would I
Yeah,
tell him
but-
he sucked?
Do you need any
Well,
help with organizing your notes? I know you're
I'd be telling
uneducated over
him,
there,
You ain't
apparently.
going to
So
win
I
the Super Bowl,
want to
Yeah.
make sure that it
We're-
comes out accordingly.
just like you're not going to win the Super Bowl.
Okay, you just keep. I love it, dude. Just keep
I
running.
love it too.
It's nice.
Go
That's
ahead.
that. You're
Come
like
on,
a
what's
little
up with these
yappy
notes?
dog.
I know. I probably got like one or two
I
digs in there.
I was just going through some
I love
of this, and it was hilarious because we had a couple quotes this year, first couple of weeks of the podcast, and I think one of my favorite one is Singletary will have a better season than Barkley. Book it.
I remember that.
I'm like,
I don't remember
okay.
saying that.
I
think I meant-
will be disappointed.
I do want to say I do think I meant not what Barkley was going to do in Philly. I meant what he did in New York the year before, like compared to what Barkley did. And
I think-
Tracy did that.
That is
so it's-
that is not what you
There's
meant at the
no
time.
way.
Definitely not.
There's no way in a million years I would have ever said Tracy Barkley was going to one of the
You
best
were,
offensive
because you were
lines.
saying he wouldn't play very many games.
Yeah, exactly. You had Barkley, and I'll probably bring it up here in a couple quotes. You had Barkley getting hurt
hurt by week 5 or 6. I was hoping.
Yeah,
I was
you were
hoping.
hoping. I think my favorite quote of Chris.
That's
am
why I
not
lost. That's
going
why I
to
lost all
listen
my.
from people who don't know anything. Anybody want to know what that was in reference to?
Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones, very good.
Always is.
After week 1, Randy, and I quote, "I'm not sure, Eagles fans, I don't see any comparisons here with Dallas and any other team in the NFC. We are unstoppable."
That was true week 1.
So yeah, just wanted to, a couple little things out there.
Things happen, buddy.
Did you get-
Things
Chris had another good quote. Getting ready for the Washington game. Daniel Jones might turn into an Avenger and beat the Redskins' ass. We will not lose that game.
And what happened?
Avenger. He was definitely not an Avenger. I don't remember that
Nah.
game, but
It was
I
actually a good
guarantee
game.
he was not
He
an
actually
Avenger.
He actually didn't play a bad game. That was the game we lost because Graham got hurt on the opening kickoff. And there was a bad fumble by Tracy in the second half.
As long as he is in the starting lineup, he is my boy.
He is. He still is my boy.
But
I'm
now
sticking with him.
now he is on the practice squad of another team, and he's still
He's not
your
on the
boy.
practice squad. He's listed as the second
That's where he
string
ended the
quarterback of the
season, buddy.
Vikings. No,
Well, they
he
don't
didn't.
really
He
have
was-
an active roster at the moment, so you can't really say he's like,
Yeah. They
I
moved
think
him
one of
up.
my favorite Chris
they moved him up for the
episodes
playoffs.
is-
They moved him up for the playoffs.
Chris
Chris
has been
says-
checking his Madden updates for every day to
Dude,
wait for that move.
I was because I'm hoping to use the Vikings against like somebody and use Daniel Jones because I play a lot of Madden, so I want to use him.
Week 2, we talked about like the playoffs, and like I think Mike's question was above or beyond Vegas's win
I
total.
said we'd go
And
way
of course,
past it.
Chris was going to be way over
Mhm.
8 wins, and
I'm
then
a
he
fan.
said,
Of course
so,
I was.
so after we make the playoffs, can we sit around and listen to this episode on repeat?
Didn't turn
that's
out-
pretty good.
That didn't age very well, did it?
So we all
Not
get
bad
a
year.
point. We all got a point if we were
90% of what you said at the beginning of the year didn't
Yeah,
age very well.
And like I told Greg in the text thread the other day, that's exactly what would happen. And when your team's good, of course you're going to look like a winner right now. Of course.
So Randy had some really good quotes.
If Paul would have supported his team in the competition, he would have won it.
I agree with that. I think Randy had some really good quotes that were actually really insightful. Bo Nix is the new Drew Brees. I think Randy hit that on the head, and
He did.
Yeah, he did.
Randler was like, not a chance.
Nah,
I did.
And,
Yep.
and you know what was really cool? A couple of weeks ago, I think it was the playoff game. They talked about how Sean Payton really liked Bo Nix, and he got his Drew Brees. And I think the announcer even said it, and I was like, "Damn, Nostradamus."
I
also-
one guy.
I got heard announced. That was dope. That was dope.
Go ahead, Greg.
also
I like
said-
your attaboys.
He also said that San Francisco will be on the decline, and we all said you're crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
And they did.
Injuries. They had a lot of injuries.
But
One
Randy
injury.
also said that Dallas was going to win more than 11 games this year. That didn't
I
work
thought.
out well.
Yeah.
No, that definitely did not. That did
Hey.
not age well either.
A fan. You're a fan, dude. Like, what
I
are
know.
you going to do? Come on here and say we're going to suck? I ain't going to do that ever.
No, I'm not Paul. I'm not going to cheer against
Yeah,
my team.
he plays. He waffles because he plays it safe.
I'm very happy with all my decisions last year, and I feel like I'm reaping the benefits of it this year and will continue to.
No, yeah, Paul had a couple good predictions about his quarterback. His quarterback was fantastic.
His what?
Fantastic this
Randy,
year.
what was it? What was
Quarterback.
I'm not going to
Quarterback.
say it. I am not
All right.
feeding into your quarterback.
it?
So as we sit here and as we get ready for the Super Bowl, I just pondering everything and just wanted to review some of those things for you guys. I was wrong on several of these things as well. We just won't talk about them tonight, but I was wrong as well, guys. But Chris, I want to give you a cookie for having the worst takes of the year. I mean,
not all on the Giants, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Not on
Yeah.
everything
So-
else. A lot of good
I mean,
takes.
that's just all
Why
I
do you
cared
always, there's a rebuttal for everything. It doesn't matter what it is.
Because
Like,
that's
oh, well,
what I do.
the sun
Just
came
like
up
Lewis
today.
said. Just
Well,
like
you
Lewis
know it
said.
is. It's going to go back
Just
down.
like Lewis said in the community chat, you're not going to win an argument with me. So, and I got to win something.
Do you practice
Giants
this like in
didn't win me
front of the
anything.
mirror? Like, I mean, do you literally just look at it
Oh.
and you just like start like rebuttaling your own crap into the mirror or something? It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I do. You call it
So,
me.
did you guys watch any of the
I
Pro Bowl
actually
stuff?
have I actually have you
Dude.
taped to my mirror, and I
No,
talk
I'm
to you in the
fucking
morning.
irritated as shit about that. I
Whoa.
literally
About what? About what?
the Pro
Did you watch
Bowl.
any of the Pro Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, I watched neighbors dominate and Eli win again. Yes, I did.
Jesus.
I did.
Oh, you're funny.
Thanks, Randy.
Demon! I can't wait to watch
No,
Eli
it was
beat
even-
Peyton in his field goal thing. I love that
couldn't find it
commercial.
on any
I'm
of my
44
regular
now.
TV.
I love that commercial.
You're ridiculous.
I
I love Eli.
could not find a Pro Bowl on regular TV, and then when I went and looked on my
Sorry.
irregular TV and found out it was all-
Irregular tier TV.
it's not exactly what most people would legally watch.
I know what you
football on.
mean.
So on my irregular TV, when I realized that they're
confused.
playing flag
Whatever.
football,
Unnecessary to mention.
I was
That's
like,
what the
dude,
football is going to end up being. I mean, this
is ridiculous.
That's what it
This
is.
ridiculous.
You'll never have Sean Taylor tackling the punter again, ever.
Oh, I
It's
missed that.
ridiculous.
That was a great
Nobody
memory.
cares anymore.
It's
I don't know why they
I
do
like
it.
I like the competitions and all that better. That's more fun. I do like the competitions. That's fun.
I wish they would do it could the winner of the Pro Bowl host a Super Bowl? I know it's not teams, like make it somehow important.
They
It
started doing that in
means
baseball.
nothing.
It's
I like that in
incentivized now in
baseball,
baseball.
actually.
I
Whoever-
wish they could. Yeah.
That was like what 10 years ago they did that. I like that.
So yeah, if the NFC wins the Super Bowl next year, the NFC team that's in the Super Bowl hosted or something.
Yeah,
like
but that
I
sucks. They
know.
don't want nobody to get hurt in it, and then like the teams in the Super Bowls players aren't. I mean, not like the teams
I
are
don't
still
know. Then
stacked.
don't freaking play it. I mean, if you're not going to play the same
Yeah.
game,
I'll
the
tell you
same
what,
sport, don't play it.
You know, the highlight of neighbors making that catch and they're all laughing and Bijan Robinson. That actually looked dangerous. I was like, oh, God, You gotta take it easy, man. It's just a stupid flag football game.
Sounds like the highlight of somebody's week was a pro football game.
It was.
I don't have anybody in the
Holy
Super
cow.
Bowl, and I got a number one wide receiver. How about that take? I said that in early in the season. I told you he was going to be the
quarterback.
I told you he was going to be the best wide receiver in the draft, and
that was just you went way out on a limb on
so
that one, buddy.
you guys all said no way, Harrison.
No,
all of
no,
you
we
said
didn't.
it. Watch episode 1.
I forgot about Harrison.
You all said it.
Yeah, we all like
You
Harrison.
all said it, and I said, I'll take Neighbors.
Talent. We all knew he was a talent.
And then everybody said he didn't have a quarterback.
You know,
and
Chris,
he dominated. He dominated.
Chris, do you know who else would have dominated if he was with the Giants and had that usage? Marvin Harrison Jr.
There you go with your usage again.
So
there you go.
I'm sorry, but it's
Could he
true.
get 1,648?
Is it not? Do you think it's not true? Do you think Marvin Harrison couldn't have done what Neighbors did?
I don't think
if he was
better
put in
than
the same
Neighbors.
spots.
I think
Do you think
Neighbors
he could have
is
done
going-
the same thing.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Harrison
He ain't there.
easily
You
could have caught
refuse
all
to
those
give anybody
balls.
else their props.
I think he could be
if
good.
it's not your guy.
Maybe he's
Nobody
just
will
not.
ever be as good as your guy.
I don't
You know
think
what,
Marvin
Chris?
Harrison's going to reach like the Jamar Chase level. No, I don't. But I think Neighbors will.
I
I
gotta
do.
tell you something, Chris. I gotta tell you something. Because of your
I'm
week
allowed to.
one, Listen,
I
I'm
think
trying to
that,
talk
and I
here.
said
I'm
it.
trying to
before,
talk here.
I said that
No,
before
I'm
we even
trying to
drafted
talk
him.
and you listen to me.
I said this
Chris,
before we
Chris,
even drafted him.
listen.
Because of your
Listen.
week one picks in every one of my fantasy football leagues, I picked Malik Neighbors. So thank
Thanks.
you, Chris.
Well, you're quite welcome, Randy.
I was trying to say it. You kept
Yeah,
interrupting
now
me.
he gives
you
your moment.
But I
Thank
wanted
you.
to. I wanted to say that. I wanted to add that before I even knew he was going to be a giant. I said that.
Well, I didn't
So it
even
ain't-
know
it ain't
much
like-
about him, but you were like high as a kite on him, and then
High as a kite on him.
He's just one of the top two receivers.
We
in
don't
the
watch
draft.
college
I
football.
knew that.
Not a lot of us.
I do. I didn't know that he was. Again, once you started saying it, I started looking stuff up, and then everybody's high on him. So I drafted him.
Chris, and this is where I'm not letting you wiggle out of this, and I just pulled up some stats. So I agree with Mike.
What?
You're.
So you guys are going to come up with a hypothetical? That's so
I'm not
dumb.
coming up with any hypothetical.
This is what I. This is what
Obviously-
started the podcast
obviously
when I said
neighbors.
I didn't think
and this
Hurts
is
could have
where-
took us to the playoffs and won a playoff game.
So this is where I get frustrated.
Here's a
with you.
hypothetical.
You're telling me just because Neighbors is a giant, he's the way better receiver.
That's not what I said. I just
Mike
got done telling you. I said it before we even drafted him.
Listen
I thought he was
to
going
me.
to be the.
Time out. Listen. Just listen with your ears. Malik Neighbors had over
What
60.
else am I going to listen with?
Had over 60 more passes thrown to him.
Right.
If Harrison was in that situation, he would have put
You know
up
what else that makes
similar
that
numbers.
But
remarkable?
Harrison
The same thing that
also
makes-
had the opportunity to drop all of those really big play,
Like the Washington
big
game when
plays
Daniel
at the
Jones
end of the
did not
game,
have a
just
bad
like
game.
Neighbors did.
Yeah,
He would have had the
yeah.
same opportunity to drop those as well.
Here's
I
the
guess
thing
my
too.
point is, if you get 70 more passes thrown to you,
All right.
of course your numbers are going to
Well,
be
here's
better.
my point then, Greg. My same point with Jalen Brunson. Mike says he's only good because he's taking all these shots. If you get Bronny all them shots, is he going to play like Jalen Brunson and score 40 points a night?
I don't think Mike has ever compared LeBron James Jr.
It doesn't matter. He said any player that you give that kind of usage to. So
I
here's
did
the other
not
thing.
say any
That-
player. I said and I specifically said this on last week's episode. Roll the tape. I said there's probably
Roll the
100
tape.
players.
Everybody should be rolling the tape. So here's the other thing. Here's my other take on that. Jalen Brunson, like unlike this year, was the only option.
podcast.
No, I'm spinning it. Let me
Okay.
go full circle. You guys
Full
always want to
circle.
attack me, but then Mike told me today in text I'm gonna get my points out. You're
All
gonna
right, full
attack me, I'm
circle.
gonna get my points out.
Okay.
Full circle.
Thanks, Mike.
So Jalen Brunson, there ain't nobody else to go to on the Knicks. There ain't no other scores. It's easier to shut somebody down. The same reason why Barkley wouldn't perform the way he did in New York or the Bears like he does on the
I
Eagles.
got you.
And then
I
okay?
agree.
so he was able to do it, and he
But
had
my
remarkable
point is,
stats.
Don't use statistics
So Malik
to try
Neighbors,
to say
so
I'm
Malik
wrong.
Neighbors, if he's the only, shut him down. You can't shut him down. That's what makes him even better. You wait till he gets a number 2, which they're going to do, which I'll bring up. You wait till he gets a quarterback and a number 2 wide receiver that you got to worry about. He might be better than Chase. You don't know. I don't think Marvin Harrison's going to be that. So yeah, I ain't
watch.
going out of nothing.
Hey, don't be
He
surprised.
might be, but as of right
Don't
now,
be
he's not.
surprised if Malik Neighbors is not even the best sophomore player out of LSU
He
next
might
year.
not. He might not be.
Brian
I know what he
Thomas
did.
came on out of nowhere with all this Malik Neighbors talk, and by the end of the season was a top 5 wide receiver.
Brian
And-
Thomas had a damn good year.
And, you know,
He did.
is in the offensive rookie of the year finals, just like his 2 other LSU counterparts. So I wouldn't crown him quite yet. I mean, you know, and you keep mentioning Jamar Chase. There was this other guy, his teammate there, Justin Jefferson, as well.
Exactly.
I mean, there's
I love Justin Jefferson. I do. Absolutely. I think he can be that type of guy. I didn't follow. That's just somebody
in
I
fantasy next year, given the opportunity, I'm drafting Brian Thomas over Malik Neighbors.
And you're gonna wait and see who the quarterback is? Because
I would wait till the quarterback.
So
to see who the
speaking of
quarterback is.
rumors, one big one I seen today and yesterday was Cooper Kupp got told he is being traded.
Mm-hmm.
So that means there's a chance Matt Stafford might go, and Giants are high on Matt Stafford. So Matt Stafford is definitely one of the top 10
I would love to
quarterbacks
see you get an
playing
aging
right
quarterback and an aging receiver.
It's
I'd love
fine,
to see
but
that.
I would love to bring Cooper Kupp to the Giants with Malik Neighbors right now for a year.
Well, you could do that
With
to that man. That's
what
a nice
happens
man.
if-
You got a
what
family and
happens if-
everything.
What happens if we don't get a quarterback in the top 3 and we take Dart or that Milrow late first or early second? I would love to bring in a Jameis Winston or a Stafford, and if I had my choice, I would take Stafford. Jameis Winston, I just like. Everybody's ragging on me about that. I like Jameis Winston. He's nothing wrong with him.
He's
not
fun.
gonna be an
He's
answer.
fun.
in a game.
He's not a
The
good
greatest-
quarterback if you want
greatest-
to win games.
You know what's cool? No, he's like a bridge. He's not the answer. But if we go get a guy in the second round or third round and we need a guy
how
to
many
be there.
years has it been since you won the Super Bowl? You need
And
to
what
get
does
good
he do?
quick.
And what does he do? He might throw 4 picks, but he'll throw 500 yards. Neighbors going to eat
He
with him.
doesn't win games.
No,
He wouldn't
Did
be
we
the
not
answer.
learn- Did
He's
we
just
not
like
learn
Kirk-
this year that a quarterback does not have to throw 500 yards a game to
100%.
be a winning quarterback?
100%. We got a running back. I'm
And
just
then when
saying.
you got
like,
somebody like Joe Burrow that does throw 500 every
I'm
game.
just
What
saying,
happens? They
like-
losing record.
it wouldn't be the end of the world if we got a guy later in the draft and brought in.
Of course,
No,
it's
but
not going to be the end of the world because every year is about as bad as it can be, but it ain't the end of the world.
It's not.
2 and
It's
7 is
actually.
still
It's
2
actually
wins.
on the
Even
up
if
and
it
up.
was the end of the world, Chris would find hope
I
and
would spin it.
optimism to talk
I would
about.
spin it. Thank you,
You
Mike.
would.
Why?
There's a couple decent I'm
This
not going
is
to say it.
whoa.
People out there who throw
This
the
is
ball.
why. This is why I feel like I still
Listen,
have way more hope
there's a
than the
couple-
Dallas Cowboys.
You
were going to be on the bottom next year, bud.
Kirk, dude. Again, your hope is that you get Jameis Winston. I don't think I need to worry
No,
about.
I honestly think we're going to get. I honestly,
literally, dude.
listen.
That's your hope.
We
and
might
prayer.
be
Your-
still better
your-
than you
your
with Jameis
answer is
Winston.
Jameis Winston.
No.
Interceptions.
I'm not going to let.
I'm
I'm going to take Greg's line. I'm not going to let you wiggle out of this. No, I said I wouldn't mind.
I didn't wiggle.
If
I
we
dived
don't-
right into it because you put yourself out there. You
If we don't get a quarterback
belly
third,
flop.
if we don't get a quarterback with the
Whatever.
third pick, if we don't get a quarterback with the third pick, and we end up getting one later in the draft, I have no problem with bringing in a bridge quarterback. And I don't hate the idea of Jameis Winston, but I
like
said I
Jameis
would.
Winston
I
as a
said I would
person, but
love.
dude, as
I
a
love him as a
starting
person.
quarterback, it would terrorize.
I think he's.
me.
I think he's a great teammate.
How can
I think
you
he
say
and
that?
he's
I
a
mean,
great teammate,
Sure, so
and he's
is
a great
Santa
backup
Claus, but I don't
quarterback.
want him as my quarterback.
and he's a great backup quarterback. If you have a decent, like, what if we go out and draft Sanders 1
Listen,
and he's great?
there's
or
a
Cam
lot
Ward-
of better options
third.
out there. There's a
Yeah,
lot of
I
better
just-
Doesn't
and I
matter.
just
You're
said
gonna,
one.
whatever it is, you're going to make it the wrong decision. Even
And I
if it,
just
on
said
paper
one.
it
Matt
looks good.
Stafford. I would take Matt Stafford like this.
I was going to say, Kirk Cousins is still out there. Wow, he's
I don't
Aren't
like
they
Kirk
both-
Cousins.
They're both under contract, right?
They've been talking about.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what I
so
heard
you're
today.
going to have to give up assets to get Stafford and Cup, right?
No,
I
Cup
would-
just-
Probably not. I think both. Well, yeah, for Cup, but I bet
Cup
you
just
that
got told
if,
today he's being moved. Or I think
yeah,
it was
but
last night
first
or
of
this
all,
morning.
the whole Rams thing is. I'm pretty sure, Chris. That's you just speculating, right? That's like not really.
No,
I heard
like
that. I heard
outside
that.
of maybe
I-
the Giants.
No, that's
it is.
true.
There
Cooper
is some
Kupp
truth
said
to it.
Like he said, they told me I'm getting traded immediately.
And less than 4
No,
hours
I'm talking
ago,
Stafford. I know
Oh,
Cup's
yeah.
on the block.
Oh, yeah,
Listen,
nobody's
listen,
But
saying
listen.
nobody's talking about trade. I don't think the Rams
Nah,
have
but
any
Stafford-
interest in trading Stafford.
there's
No,
already
I-
been
I
rumors.
don't
There's
know.
already been rumors of him possibly not playing next year at all or leaving LA. I mean, but even Malik Neighbors less than 4 hours ago tweeted number 9, number 10, a Ram, and big eyes. It is something that's You always
And
say
I hope
it's
you
my
lose your
fan-
number 3 pick for tampering because
You
your
always
boy
say-
Malik Neighbors is an idiot.
That ain't tampering. You're allowed to go. Like, freaking Eleanor said that he wants Myles Garrett to come to
But again, like
New
you've
York.
seen
Like, you're
nothing
allowed to-
from
you're
the
allowed to-
Rams that says that they want to get rid of this
It's
guy.
speculation,
You're
but
just
Mike,
speculating from a
it's stuff that I'm
Giants fan
hearing.
page again.
It's stuff
I
that
heard
I'm
a
hearing.
rumor that
Always
next year
hearing-
the
you're
Giants
always
are going to be
hearing, like,
ass.
And
These
that all,
ridiculous
and that all
things
this
that come
do?
out
It's
of
not
like
ridiculous
Giants
things.
group chats and like
I don't-
forums, and it's not real life. It's like the most fantasy thing in the world.
It's more like the
Bobby
stuff
Skinner
like
didn't hear the rumor. It didn't happen. I don't want to hear it.
I hear a lot of good stuff like from that platform and people that he follows. Yes, I do. And he follows a lot. Yeah, absolutely. It ain't fanboy stuff. It's more like beat writer stuff, but it's just not
Just remember,
ESPN.
Chris.
It's just not ESPN NFL Network stuff.
Just remember,
So it's
I'm
not
not going to listen from people who don't know anything.
100%. That's why I argue with you guys every Tuesday.
Because we don't know anything that
You
Daniel
don't
Jones
know
sucks.
about your own team, and outside of that, especially Eagles fans.
We were all right about your team this year and last year, actually.
we
You were
were.
the only one that was wrong.
Yeah.
You were spot on.
There's a lot of
your team.
things
Good
you're wrong
point.
about, though. There's a lot of
No.
things you're wrong about, though.
No,
Name
but
one.
what we weren't wrong about was the Giants.
There's a lot of
We
things.
said they
Just
were
like
gonna
the
suck.
Cowboys.
Just one. Name
Stop.
one
It's just-
thing we were wrong about.
There's quite a few things you were wrong about.
Just name
All right,
one.
I just
Name
told,
one.
I just told you neighbors. You guys all said there's no way he will not be. And I said he would be. That's a Giants thing.
I can guarantee you that nobody on this panel said Neighbors would never be good. I can guarantee that.
Yeah, but I told you he would be the best in the draft, and you
Maybe
guys
I
said, no
that
way.
Harrison was going to be a better
You said,
receiver
no way.
this year.
No way. No way, Harrison. Arr.
And their
Watch-
numbers weren't
watch week
that
one.
far off.
Watch
So
week
hold
one.
on. Well, I got a
Who
question.
cares?
Did Brian
Why are we
Thomas have
banter
a
about
better
something-
year, or did Neighbors have a better year?
Neighbors had a better year. And
They
what's
had
the
to be
point
pretty
of
equal, I would think.
Yeah,
They
but
were
he
both very
answered,
good.
he answered that
Why are
without
we talking
even
about
knowing.
the Super Bowl that you're going to
Yeah.
lose?
What
Like,
what about Brock Bowers? I mean,
he had a
he's
great
another
year.
Beans.
rookie.
Tight end.
I'm just
He did.
again
He
for
actually
tight end
got-
to have a better year than a breakout.
He had a great year.
Brock
He had a
Bowers
lot
had
of-
a generational year. He broke some
Oh,
records.
It's probably just because he had a lot of usage, though.
It
Oh, he
was.
did.
That's
did.
actually
You're
very
right.
true.
It's true.
But you got to shut it down, Mike. He did have a great year. You can't take it. You can't discredit him because he got a lot of usage. If everybody's game planning for you and they're still not stopping you, you got to credit the guy for that. That's why you got to credit Brunson. That's why you got to credit
Okay,
Neighbors.
I
That's why you
agree,
got to credit
Chris.
Brown.
But at the same
But
time,
no,
like
you don't.
what-
You say it's usage.
No.
Michael Jordan gets usage. Nobody
Okay.
gets more. Edwards gets tons of uses
You
in the
can't
NBA.
dispute what Greg said. If you get 70 more balls thrown at you
Stop him.
compared to another guy, you
Stop
are going.
him.
I don't care if you're
If I'm
good
playing
or
you in
not.
Madden and you
You
can't
could
stop
be-
the run, I'm going to run on you all day long.
Chris, all right, listen, Chris, let's take it to
Like-
an extreme. If you were a great receiver and I was a terrible receiver, but my team threw it to me 100 times and your team threw it to you 10, who's going to have the better year? I know that's an extreme, but who's going to have the better year? You as a great
Yeah.
receiver with 10,
Maybe the one-
10 times, or
you
me
in the
with 100,
NFL and
who's an
Neighbors in the-
average player?
But I will say
Well-
this, Mike. In Malik's defense, it probably means he's open pretty often too, or at least somewhat open. I don't know.
Here's the other.
mean-
Yeah, I agree, Randy. But you also got to remember that Malik Neighbors' average depth of catch was like 2 yards for most of the season. He wasn't
No,
exactly
It
running
wasn't
down
2
the
yards.
field
There was
with
a lot
like.
of there was a lot of dink and dunks. There was.
There was a lot
But it
of dink
wasn't-
and dunks, Chris.
there
He
was
had
a lot of
one of
dink
the
and dunks.
lowest average receptions per catch or yards per catch
Yeah, that was
of
their
anybody
offense.
in the
That's
league
what they
for a
ran.
while, even though he had such a high number of catches.
But he's
So-
still
Absolutely.
the best because he was a giant.
Just to
It's not why.
He
shift
is the
gears,
best.
just to shift
Not
gears a
disputing
little
that.
bit. Who is the? I was listening to a
That's
guy
not
today
why, Greg.
talking about the Eagles defense, and the Eagles run a high 2 defense a lot.
Okay.
And
Safety?
who's the 2 safeties? Who is the defensive coordinator for the Eagles right now?
Vic Fangio.
Vic Fangio,
Vic
he's a
Fangio,
beast.
who created the 2 high defense.
Didn't create
Basically,
it, but go ahead.
basically created it. back
Reinvented
with reinvented. Okay. So what I thought was interesting was the guy was talking about, I guess there's been some talk in the NFL about banning the 2 high defense. And a simple
Never
reason
happened.
No, I agree with you. His reasoning for it, though, is that defense is incredibly good at shutting down big plays.
Bend but don't break.
That's how you
Hence
win
the
football
Eagles'
games. That's how you win
largest-
football games. Explosive
So-
plays.
What's interesting is Kansas City, even though they are not a high-flying offense, is living off of big plays this year. And it is going to
So's
be
the Eagles.
very interesting. No, they're not.
No,
They're
we're
really not. They're
Barkley
really not.
all day long. Every time
Barkley,
he gets a
but
big
they're-
game, is
they're-
what about the
they're-
4 times or 5 times or 6 times they stop him behind the line? They do
So-
that too.
So this year, Kansas City is the
Hold on,
number
one
two.
more thing though. One more thing though. I heard a stat today. The last 18 playoff games, Kansas City has not gave up 100 yards. They're like one of the best defenses against the run.
Yeah,
And if they do that this week, and put it in your quarterback's hand, you're going to lose.
Okay, so I disagree 100%, but that's fine. You're allowed to say that. You also think Jalen Hurts sucks, which is
I don't think
your
he sucks.
opinion.
I never
You
said he sucks.
all year that Jalen Hurts sucks.
I supported him last year and the year before. I never said he
What?
sucks. I said he's a decent quarterback that needs pulled and carried.
Am
And he
I
has a
in the
great
Twilight
supporting
episode?
No, Greg, no.
What's
This
going
is
on here?
this is not
That's what
true.
I said for years. That's what I said for years.
Oh
But
my
this
I
was
like
God.
one of the.
You have
This was
nothing
one
but
of
hate
those
for
years.
Jalen Hurts this
I
year.
like to aggravate you, but the truth is he needs the
Chris,
supporting
this
cast.
podcast started because you said Daniel Jones was better than Jalen Hurts.
That's not what happened. I said I
That
don't
is exactly what happened.
What I said was, and I still believe it to this day.
That he's
I don't think-
better.
I don't
Jalen
think
Hurts.
Top
Jalen
three.
Hurts.
He's
I don't
top
think
three.
Jalen Hurts could have taken that Giants
Oh
team
my God.
to a playoff game and won. I don't. I still don't. I think you
Okay.
need the supporting cast you got, and that's
Got
why
it.
you're going to lose this Super Bowl because you're
we're
out-coached
going to lose because
and
Chris.
their quarterback's better than
No,
yours.
you're going to win because of Chris. Good Lord.
No, you're not going to win.
And this is where Chris. This is where you lose me because
Love it, Randy.
like our coach
is funny.
sucks, but he's literally in his first couple years of coaching has the highest win percentage. He's been to 2 Super Bowls since he's been coaching, and it's like he is brought the team back from the collapse of last year. We like have had an incredible season, and you still don't give him credit. You still think he sucks. Now, is Andy Reid a better coach than him? Absolutely,
100%.
I agree with that. Is Patrick Mahomes better quarterback than Jalen Hurts?
100%.
I would agree with that. But guess what? Patrick Mahomes does not play Jalen Hurts. Like, I think Spags is a great defensive coordinator, but
One of the
I also
best
think-
ever.
I think Kellen Moore and Nick are having a really good, successful year. And if you want to keep your head in the sand buried and pretend like we're not a good offensive football team, then by all means, do it. I don't care. Like, it's just your rhetoric is just blah, blah, blah. You and the
I don't
national
see you
media-
beating them. I don't see you beating them.
do. Like, oh, you're going to lose to the Rams. You're going to lose to
Of course, I'm
Green Bay.
going to. I
You're gonna
have
lose
to.
Chris,
That's
you
my
have
job.
no-
I'm bannering
But-
against a
but
team that I
listen,
hate. You're
but
my
when you
sworn
think about
enemy.
that, when you compare our O line versus their D line, who do you take?
I'm telling you why
Our
I'm taking
O-line.
them. It doesn't
You take
matter.
Our D line versus their O line, who do you take? Our D line. You take our linebackers versus their linebackers.
I think when it comes down to
Our
these big
linebackers.
games in the playoffs, it comes down to coaching and it comes down to the stars.
Yeah, but I'd take
Like,
their
the year
quarterback
the
versus
Giants-
your
It comes down to the
quarterback.
coaches, the
Listen.
players on the field, the conditions,
years-
Everybody, right?
location.
the years the Giants beat the
And
greatest
then
team
somehow
ever.
comes
Listen,
back to the Giants.
yeah, because
Suck.
listen, the year we beat the
You
greatest
suck.
team ever. The year we beat the greatest team ever.
And by the
Randy
way, the
Moss
Eagles
and
did that too.
Now listen, yeah, ours was the greatest team ever. They were 18-0.
Okay.
They were 18-0. They had Randy Moss and they had the GOAT Tom Brady. We did not have a very good defensive year at all. And then our GOAT, Eli, had that's his greatest run ever. And you know why we won that Super Bowl? Because of Spags and the defense. And we shut down one of the most high-flying offenses in the NFL.
But Belichick's a better coach.
Hey.
How did your coach outcoach him?
Because Tom Coughlin was a damn good coach too, but defense wins championships, and I think you're going to get
And
outcoached in
that's
this
why
in this
we have a
Super Bowl.
better defense, in my opinion.
Yeah,
we're
but you're
win
going against
Super
Pat
Bowl.
Mahomes. Going against
And
Pat
what I was
Mahomes,
gonna
I
dude.
say.
think Giants Super Bowl talk is probably the best time to take our break. We're running a little long here in the first half, and
I didn't think we were doing two halves.
That's got to be a perfect time to cut, and we'll do a quick
Giant
second
Super
half.
Bowl.
We'll do a real.
Out of
We won't
control.
stay too long.
I'm not going to
but
let you enjoy
I
it.
don't think there's a whole lot more to talk about here, but we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back here in a minute.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening. Just a few quick reminders for everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Michael Jordan is the GOAT. And check out our fellow podcaster, Jim Montgomery, with This Day in Philly Sports History. Thank you.
All right, we're back. We got Greg and Topher settled down a little bit, I think. We realized that Paul,
Love you, buddy.
amongst their fighting,
Hate the
didn't really
birds.
get a chance to give any takes. So I want to ask Paul, you got any digs for us? Or you got any speculation on the Super Bowl? You got anything at all you want to talk about? You got any Commanders updates?
Yeah, I'm hoping that we get Myles Garrett. That's for darn sure.
Everybody.
That's the biggest update.
I would love for that to be a real rumor.
I've seen a lot of speculation about the Commanders getting in on that.
So
I'm waiting for one splash. I mean, we got some aging players last year, and they turned out to work really well. So I'd like a little bit less age, and
you got a lot of money too.
like
Yeah,
a
they
Myles
do.
Garrett. Like, I would love to have another receiver. I don't know if I necessarily love Cooper Kupp, but I don't know if I want this
I
Cooper
literally
Kupp this old.
saw someone say it with your salary cap and with how he would fit behind Terry as a number 2 slot receiver, the number 2 or number 3, that would be an awesome match. But who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, even somebody like if the Lions want to get rid of Jamison Williams, I don't think they're all that high on him, and I would love to have just a couple more additions, and I think it's going to happen.
Definitely going to get him a weapon.
Yeah, they need to open the wallets for the first time. So I don't know how.
You got a lot of money, right? You have a lot
guy owns the Sixers, and he hasn't stopped giving money to bench players in a decade now. So he's paying players more to sit on the bench and sit at home than he is to play.
NBA is a little different. Everybody gets ridiculous contract. You could be the last guy on the bench making $10 million a year.
Yeah, like it's unbelievable. So I want a couple additions. I don't want to. I don't think they're going to make huge changes to the team. There's no reason to. We're not the Cowboys and things like that. So I think that we're in a good spot. Going forward.
He said last
like
year.
The Cowboys last year.
That's what he said. He's like, when you're up top, you don't make a lot of moves. You don't need to.
I meant with contracts. We don't have anybody that's literally that's going to be a crutch.
Hey, I gotta throw this in there. I think Dallas could go a whole nother year without signing anybody and be fine, as upset as fans are there right now over the Luka thing. Jerry Jones got a free pass for the next 12 months.
He did.
I love that trade by the Mavericks, by the way. I'll be the first one to say it.
Really? Don't make any
He's
sense.
the size of Randy.
Doesn't matter. He's a baller.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what he looks like. Has anybody seen him? Well, this is the football pod. I was just saying, he hasn't played since December. Like,
yeah, well, just wait. He's been playing in Dallas. It's not a huge.
He's mad because they took that beer
so.
away from him at night, and he's never been the same since they took that beer out of his hand. They took that beer out of his hand in the locker room, and he hates it there.
I tell you one thing, and then we'll move on from NBA because, good Lord, this is not that podcast. But every ref going into LA is literally going to roll their eyes when they see that they get that assignment. When you got to take complaints from Luka and LeBron for 48 minutes.
Yeah. And the flopping? Are you kidding me?
My gosh. It was like,
wow.
You guys both start off with 2 techs. So you're only one away from the ejection. Like, the other team doesn't get to shoot the free throws, but you automatically have each get a tech. So just be aware. Like, and I don't want to hear any of it. Like, it's unbelievable. But I will leave you with this one stat. And I hope it's correct. Some of my stats haven't been correct. Mike has said that Google apparently disagrees with some of them. I hope this is correct. But
I'm gonna research it immediately, just so you know.
It's on here, so it's not like I searched it. Someone searched it for me. But it says the Cowboys now have the longest active NFC conference title appearance drought at 29 years. The Bears are coming in at second with 14. And our lovely Giants, who are due for a Super Bowl any year now, are third at 13.
I still got 5 years. or
I'm
6.
pretty sure the Redskins up until last week would have been super freaking high on this list, by the way.
So here's why that can't be true. What was the Bears' number? 14 years?
Yeah, in the conference.
And we're the second longest?
They just won a Super. Weren't they in the Super Bowl? Like
That was a while ago.
Probably
They played-
Rex
it might have been
Grossman,
14.
that
Yeah,
was
14 years.
ago.
Okay, but there's 16 teams in the NFC. So, and unless no one went twice, like that stat can't be right mathematically.
Hey, I put
Sorry
the
to bust
asterisk.
your bubble, but
No, you didn't, because I put the asterisks. I wasn't too hyped, but I saw that there were 3 people that on this podcast that this impacted. So I was like, I'm gonna save this and I'm gonna talk
Yeah,
about it. But I'm
that's
putting the
not true.
asterisks. That's fine. All I care about is the first one, and we
Yeah,
know the
all
first one's. We know the
Gal
first
sucks.
it
one's
might
true.
be true. That first
Yeah.
one might be true. The second one's
Um,
definitely not.
Well, I mean, it's 1996. 1996 is the last time, and they haven't been to the championship since then.
We said
um,
14 years.
No, I'm talking about the Cowboys. Cowboys.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All
Just the
right.
Cowboys. That's the only one I
Cowboys.
cared about.
Okay.
I brought it up
No.
because it involved 3 of them. Now, the Giants one's correct,
96.
too. Yeah, you get 96 for them.
Mm-hmm. The year we won the Super Bowl.
Chris, you were driving
From what
around
you
in a green
understand, since
Mustang.
you weren't a fan,
Greg,
then.
we were still in school.
True.
You didn't even
Yeah, you had your-
graduate yet, Greg.
Ford Escort you had.
That was my
True.
Yeah, I did have the Mustang.
Well,
I had
that's
a
a pretty
Mazda
good.
van. You had
That's
a
a pretty
Mustang?
good
I had a-
Diddy
I had a
dig
van.
end for you.
I had a Mustang. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm super rooting for the Chiefs, which at the beginning of the year, I did not want to do. But I was
Yeah.
forced to. I'm absolutely
Sorry.
forced to.
Sorry about
Randy,
your
what are
luck,
you
guys.
researching?
Literally, right now, I'm doodling. No,
All right.
Oh.
I was like,
would-
he's over there trying to figure out how long it had been for Washington
no, I
before
was
this
just
year.
thinking. Mike, I was just
That's
thinking.
funny.
I
7
was
days.
thinking. Listen, I was thinking as you were talking. The NFC Championship, 2 teams go to. There's 16 teams. That only means 8 years if no one goes twice.
Oh, fair enough. All right. If I'm thinking one team.
Look at the
I'm thinking
big
Super
brain
Bowl.
on Brett. Good
Telling
job,
you
Randy.
right now, Brady.
Those brain cells are going to want to take
Smart.
a nappy nap after this is done. I can already tell.
to.
This guy.
How many times this year,
They're
Paul,
awake.
have I shown that I am the
Quarter.
superior brain here, and now you're still saying stuff like this?
Don't shake your head. Your chin will never stop moving.
Listen, listen,
That cranberry
Paul, I
sauce.
literally could have beat you if I wanted to. If I picked or beat Greg again in the skills-based match, if I wanted to, but I chose to go the honest way.
Chose to lose. That's a good man right there. Thank you. I appreciate
Again,
that.
dumber to bag of hammers.
All right,
Probably.
before we get out of here, I want to go around the room and get everybody's prediction, score pick. If you got any player predictions, anything you want to throw out there, I want to do that. Anybody have any? Did we miss anything? Any topics that we didn't get? Chris, did you get all your points out?
I'll bring it up in my prediction.
Okay,
I
all
do
right.
have a point. I do
Then
have
let him
something
go
to say.
last since we're up against the deadline here.
Yeah, I'll go last.
I
can
wanted
start
to
at
just
7:58.
point out something real quick. 2 years ago, when we went to the bowl, Gannon was being interviewed by Arizona, which hosted the Super Bowl. This year, our offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, is being interviewed in New Orleans, which is hosting the Super Bowl.
So it's fixed.
I'm not saying it's fixed. I'm just saying it's an incident. It's a weird coincidence.
And it's also
Hey,
Barkley's birthday.
One quick question: did any of you
Super
guys
Bowl
hear anything about Tom Brady claiming that the Chiefs owner's wife was giving money to referees? Did you get? And does
I
that
didn't
like
hear that.
totally? I don't know. I just heard one guy saying it on TikTok. I'm guessing it's a
Must
total,
be true.
No, but the owner came out and he directly said that Tom Brady needs to be fired from Fox, though, because he needs to shut his mouth about the refs and KC, though.
So
I
last
can't
night,
remember the guy's first name, Hunt or
Well,
whatever.
that-
But
Yeah.
he came out like he had a thing, and he came out and was like direct right at Fox and said Tom Brady needs to be off the air for good.
Well,
Roger Goodell went a little berserk last night in the questioning too. Someone asked him a question about the refs in Kansas City, and it's a little blatant, and he lost his
Who did?
crap. Roger Goodell.
Goodell.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. I
Lost his
missed that.
stuff last night, and
How long has
when I
Goodell
say
been a
lost stuff, he
That's
didn't
crazy.
really lose his. He was like, "What are you talking about?" and like, you think this is fixed? Oh, you can't believe it. And then kind of went on a tirade about how the NFL can't do that, blah, 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 blah. So we'll see. But anyway, Mike was saying predictions, scores, all that stuff. I'll go first since we're in the Super Bowl. Hello.
Hello.
Playoffs. Taking the birds. 48.5 is the over-under now. It's dropping a little bit. We're still an underdog, which I have no idea how that's possible.
What's the over-under?
48.5, so it's dropping. They get opened at like 50, so a lot of people are taking the under. I think the Birds are going to win. I think they're going to win by 8 points. Let's go. I don't know. I think it's going to go under too. Let's do 28-20.
Really?
Yeah. I think we're going to win by 8.
My prediction is that the Chiefs win 27-24 because Jake Elliott blows it.
God, that
missed game time field goal.
Or something, a kick that he does later in the game, not necessarily as time expires, but
it's
when you really needed
Paul, it's indoors and on turf.
Yeah, but it's Jake Elliott.
That he's struggling this year.
There were actually, like, if I were a bettor, I saw this like parlay. It was like a 10 leg parlay for the game, and I loved every bit of it. I think it was like Kansas City on the money line. It was like Kareem any time touchdown, Jalen Hurts touchdown. Like, it was a bunch of them that, like, I mean, there were the 10. I was like, and it said 15 to win 1,000. I was like, I would bet $15 on that. So don't let me.
Let's get you an account set up, Paul.
Yeah.
Do it.
Let me go. No sweat. No, I'm going to be dripping in no sweat bets like at 3 a.m, thinking about what I'm going to do for the next week. When it pops back up. Now, there's no way I'm doing that. But I looked at it and I was like, damn, that looks freaking tasty. But I think there's a lot of good prop bets for this in this game.
Yeah, there are.
There always are.
Randy?
All right. Well, again,
wake them back up.
Yeah. I want to finish
Quit doodling there.
Segment I started earlier today. And that was me saying, basically, with the Eagles playing that defense and Kansas City being a passing offense like it is, I do think they're two very good defenses. I think it's going to be a very tight game. I think this game is figured by a field goal, and I think Kansas City's field goal is better than the Eagles.
Ooh, field goal.
This is
good game.
I think it's going to come down to the last drive, ball possession, and who gets the last score. And I'm taking Kansas. I'll take them. We'll go
Kansas.
30-27.
30-27. So you're saying over.
Are you leaving the country because you're worried about your immigration status?
Literally, I land in Phnom Penh on Sunday, which would be like 10 a.m. here. So I'm Eastern time. So I'm going to stay up till 3 a.m. there and watch the Super Bowl at 3 a.m. in Phnom Penh.
There you go.
Yeah, going to be very tired after that game.
But you're on vacation, so enjoy it.
On vacation, buddy.
It's weird that you always pick places where someone that looks like you would be considered a god over there and is worshipped.
How? Well, you guys know who he's talking about. I don't know if you did. Buddha.
Yeah.
Freaking Buddha.
Got it.
Okay.
Got
okay. It. I didn't know if some of our other Pete Chris got that. Go ahead, Chris.
Am I up,
he's
buddy?
up in the clouds somewhere, I think.
Yeah.
So
high up in the clouds.
all year I said you guys ragged on me about the Jalen Hurts. I told you I thought Jalen Hurts was a decent quarterback. I'm not gonna get into that.
Didn't.
Nope.
I have. If you go back to previous pods, I even supported him early on last year, I think in the beginning. But
why do you say that? You have 90 seconds. Go.
It doesn't
90
matter.
seconds. We're out.
But all year I did say Barkley I wanted him to get hurt because he always got hurt for the Giants. He never had these type of years for us. He never got hurt. And I want to like him, but I can't like him because of Greg. So, Greg, you should have took this. You should have took it, man, and you didn't. So, Saquon, congratulations going to the Super Bowl. I hope you break a leg, buddy. Break a leg. Chiefs are going to win. Chiefs are going to win.
Saquon.
Chiefs are going to win 31-20. It is going to be an over. And I hope on the next pod I'm the only one celebrating because we find out Friday morning he'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer. So I hope
Yep,
I'm the only
yep.
one celebrating
Oh,
next
God.
week. Let's go.
Greg, it's going to be awesome. We're going to be on Tuesday, and you're not going to get a word in. You're not getting a word in on Tuesday. You win the Super Bowl, and you're not getting a word.
Lewis, I'm a hater. I hope the Eagles lose. I hope Barkley gets under 100 yards and Eli's a first ballot Hall of Famer. That'd be a great way to end this podcast.
That's a great way to end this podcast, I think.
Great way
Let's
to
get
end this
out of here.
podcast next week.
We will
Let's
be
go.
back to find out who won the Super Bowl and if Eli is a first ballot Hall of Famer. I got the Eagles winning 27-23. My lock of the week, write it down. Even though they're going to win, Saquon under 112.5 rushing yards.
Hey, how about Eli, Mike? What's your take? Is he going to get in or not?
And that's a wrap. That's that done.
Mike,
shit.
bye. I want to know your prediction.